Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture. In this lecture, we are going to see class selector and background properties in CSS. What is class selector? The class selectors are used where you want to apply a style either on some of tags or across several tags without repeating the style rule in an HTML document. Using this method of creating styles, you can create styles in the form of style classes in an external style sheet or as an internal style sheet. The class attributes is used to apply style classes in HTML tag. There are two types of style classes, universal style classes and element specific style classes. And these are the certain rules to specify the class name, that it must start with the alphabets, and the class name must not start with a number, and it should not contain any character space, and it can have hyphen and underscore, and all these values are case insensitive. Now let's see what is universal style classes. It starts with the dot operator followed by the class name. Like here is an example. Uh, Red is a class name. So it is starting with the dot operator and then followed that the class definition is given here. Like the font size is given as a 60 pixel and the color is given as a red. hexadecimal value is specified. In place of color, you can either give directly a color name as a text, or hexadecimal value can be given, or RGB combination can be given. Here is an example. In this example, we have two content. One is in terms of H1 and another one is in terms of P we have. And both the HTML elements, we have specified the class name as red. And then to style this class, we have to specify the definition. The definition we have given in the style tag as an internal style sheet we have given dot. It started with the dot and followed that the class name, and then within a curly braces the definition of the class is given. The definition is color is equal to the hexadecimal value we have given and the font size 60 pixel we have given. So this is how the universal style class can be used. Always the universal style classes will start with the dot and then the class name. Okay, here we have the second type of style classes, that is element specific style classes. An element specific style class starts with the element name followed by a dot operator, which is followed by the class name. So you can see here the syntax is given element name dot class name, and then within a curly braces you specify the class definition, right? So here as an example here, for the paragraph tag we wanted to specify the a style. So the class name is red, the tag is paragraph tag. So we are going to specify particular element, that is paragraph tag. So p dot red, and we specify within the curly braces the definition what you wanted to apply for the class red. Here is an example. We have same example for the previous one, universal style classes we have taken, right? The same example is here. Here there are two content, H2 tag, there is a main heading content is there, and then the paragraph class, it's about Indian economy, right? Two contents are there. So here the class for both the HTML elements are going to be same. That's what it is told here, right? But we have assigned the style only for a paragraph element. So this style is going to apply only for the paragraph element. Even though you specify the class name as red in both the place, the definition of H2 element we have not given, right? So it's going to apply only for the paragraph tag. Okay, here is another example how to use two or more classes in the same web page. So here you can see for the H2 tag we have specified the class name as align, and paragraph tag we used two class names like red and look, and then for another paragraph tag we use red and align. So this is how with the space we specify more than one class. So you can see in the style tag how we specified. For the particular element wise we specified p dot red, if it is there the color must be red, that's what we told. and then p.look, if that class is implemented in any tag, it must be, the font size must be 60 pixel. And align, if you give it, the align text align must be in center. So this is how we can incorporate with the multiple classes in a single web page. Next we have grouping selector. To group selectors, separate each selector with a comma. Like till now what we have seen, element specific or element selector, what we use, like we specify the element name here, right? Element name we specify, and then we write the content. Now when there is a same definition is there for the elements, what you can do, you can separate with the elements with the comma, and within a single curly brace you can specify all the definition. So this is called grouping selectors. Okay, here is an example for universal class selector. So here I have given for h1 tag the class name as blue, and there are two paragraph tags. For the first paragraph I have given class name as blue itself, and the second paragraph I have given the class name as red. So how to write the style for these classes? So same way, this is we are writing as a universal style class. So I'm not going to specifically writing any particular element. So it's a universal style class. So it must start with the within the style tag, inside the header tag, with the dot operator. It must start. The class name must start. So dot blue I have written, and inside that I have written the definition inside the curly brace. So color is blue and the font size must be 25 pixel, and text and justify I have given. So wherever you apply the class called blue, these are the style property is going to apply to that particular text. So now H1 text is going to hold the blue color, and the font size must 25 pixel, and the text align must be justify. So this blue color class or blue class is going to apply for the H1 tag and the first paragraph tag. Now the second paragraph I have assigned class as red, right? Class name as red. So red definition is going to be the color must be red and the font size must be 15 pixel. Let us execute and see how this class definition is applied there. Okay, let me check the file name. Class selector, Control O, press Control O and select the file class selector. Open the file and see. You can make out here the first H1 tag, it's appearing in blue in color, and the first paragraph in blue in color and 25 pixel size, and it is text align is justify. The second paragraph I think 15 pixel, and text align we have not given, so it is applied. So this is how the class property can be used. Okay, now the same example I am going to take, and I am going to show how to make it as an external style sheet. Till now we have seen all inline styles and then internal style sheets, right? We have another type called external style sheet. So that's what we are going to see here. So to do so, what we are going to do, we are just going to write all this styling property, that a class with the style definition, only these two sentences, okay, only these two statements, we are going to write it in a new notepad. So here I have written only those two statements in one new notepad. No HTML tag this notepad should contain, right? Because it's a CSS file. So without any HTML tags, just type what is your class name, dot and class name, and then all the definition within a curly braces, one after the other you can type, right? So this is not only for this class, for any kind of styling property, whatever you put it in a style tag, everything can be brought into different notepad, and it should be saved with the .css extension. .css extension you must give. Otherwise this file save as a txt file. So now our style file is ready. That is external style file is ready. I just copied whatever was there in here, whatever was there within the style tag, all those properties I copied and I pasted in another notepad and saved this file with the .css extension, cascading style sheet extension I have given, right? Okay, now how to get this a style property access to in our HTML page, which is nothing but you may have to write within the head tag without writing any style tag, just to specify a link tag we are going to use, link, then rel is nothing but relationship, how this CSS file is relating to this HTML file, which is nothing but style sheet. And then we have to give href, that is hyperlink reference, like which file we are going to refer, the path of the complete file we have to give. Okay, here I have given file name as juststyle.css because I saved this particular file the name as juststyle.css, so I have given here juststyle.css, right? My file is existing in the same folder where HTML file is existing. So I just specified the file name. In case if the CSS file is some other folder and the HTML file is in some other folder, what you may have to do, you may have to give the complete path here. Okay. So now my both the files are in the same folder. So I have specified just a file name .css. So only this line is sufficient to get the same task here. Okay, this file I saved with the name of class selector external.html. Let me execute and show you the same web page may appear even for this file also. Okay, let us execute and see. Control O. Okay, this is the this file. See, you can see the same page, you are getting it back again. If you want, I will change some color and let's see. Okay, here the color I will change it to green. I change the color as green. Okay, this class also I will change it to green. Now I have a green class and red class, two classes I have. So let me save this. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to apply in place of blue, I'm going to apply green. I don't have blue class in this external file, so this also I'm changing into green. So green class and red class I have in just a style.css file, so that I'm applying it here. Let's see how it's executing. I'll refresh this. Yeah, you can make out the changes, right? So this is how all the styling properties can be brought into a different style file, that is css.css file, and you can apply those files using just only this statement. This is how external style sheet can be brought in. Now, advantages of external style sheet, you can write once the file and you can implement that file, or you can apply that styling property wherever you require. You need not to repeat it again and again, right? But in terms of inline, only it will apply for one particular text, one particular tag, right? In case of internal style sheet, it will be applied only for the particular page, right? And in case of external style sheet, it may affect more than one page wherever you include that particular file. So these are the difference between inline, internal and external style sheet. Okay, now we are going to see element specific style class. In earlier example, we have seen universal style class. That is, we have not told for particular tag should be applied. Wherever the class is applied, so all the tags is going to have the same kind of effect. But here, I have told class, I specified a head tag as main heading, and then I have a two paragraph tags, and all the tags I have specified the class as red, right? But in this, I am going to write a styling property only for the paragraph tag. That's what I have written here. P dot, the element specific style, when it comes, first the element name, followed that dot, then the class name, right? That's what we have seen as a syntax. P dot red, and then within the curly brace, I specified the color hexadecimal value for red, and the font size is 15 pixel. So this is going to be applied only for the paragraph tags because it is element specific style class. For H2 tag, it will not be applied since I have not told H2 dot red, right? Let's see this, how it's going to execute. Okay, let me open the file element specific. element specific style class. I open here, you can make out here. The heading is appearing as like a normal H2 heading, how it's going to appear. And then two paragraphs are appearing in terms of red in color and the font size is 15 pixel. That's what we have seen here as well, right? Main heading was appearing in H2 and two paragraphs are appearing in red in color. Main heading, the property, even though the class name is red, the property is not applied. The styling property is not applied because it's an element specific style class. I hope you understood this element specific style class. Next, we are going to see background properties. The background properties are used to apply background styles to a HTML elements present in the web page. There are different background properties are there. Background color, background image, background repeat, background position, background attachment, and then background. Okay, so these are the different properties we have for a background. Let's see first what is background color. The background color property allows to set the background color of an HTML element. We can set this property to a predefined color name or color value or transparent. In case of color name, you can specify directly red, green, blue, or if it is color value, you can specify hexadecimal value or RGB value. So these are the some examples how you can specify. In case if you wanted to specify for the body background color, you may specify like this, like background color colon khaki, and background color in case if you wanted to specify with the hexadecimal value, it must start with a hash. So this is how you specify, and RGB color you can specify the combination of red, green, blue. Let us see this example here. I have H1 tag and two paragraph tags I have. For the H1 tag, I wanted to give a background color. So how can I specify? I used an inline style sheet. Here H1 in the style I have specified for the H1 element, that is element selector I used, and background color colon khaki I gave. So it is understood that only for the H1 element I am giving the background color. And here one inline background color I used, property I used for the paragraph 1, where I am saying that background color is red. For the second paragraph, I have not used any styling property. Let's see how it's executing. Background color, the file name. Okay, background color. Let me open. You can see here. First I gave H1 tag. I gave the internal style sheet as khaki, and then using inline style sheet I have given red for the first paragraph background color, and then one more paragraph I had where I did not apply any style. You can make out here. Yeah, you can make out here H1 tag my web page. The background color is khaki. That's what we have given here. And then background color for the first paragraph I told red. So background color is coming in the red. And then second paragraph we have not specified any color. So this is how the background color property will work. Now I wanted to add, since I added only for H1 tag and one paragraph some backgrounds, right? I wanted the complete browser which should have a background color. How can I add that? So here what we supposed to do, for the body we may have to add the color. So now I am writing body. For this I am adding the background color. Background color, let me add as cyan. Okay, I added. Let's see how it's working. Let me refresh here. So you can make out how the body background color works. Okay, now let's see background image, how it can be given using CSS property, background property, right? So here, when it comes to image, by default, the background image property repeats an image both horizontally and vertically, so that it covers the entire element. So this is how the background image will work. Like how to specify. Now I wanted the body background image, right? So I have specified here body and then background image. In this place I supposed to specify the URL where the image is existing. URL is nothing but universal resource locator, right? So here URL is a uniform resource locator. Sorry. Here we specify the file name, exactly where it is there, the path we have to specify. I have the image called piece.jpg. The piece.jpg file is existing where I have my HTML file. So I have just specified the image name with the extension. In case if it is existing in some other folder, you may have to specify exactly where the image is located. Okay. So this is how the image background will work. Let us execute and see here. Control O, background image, the file name. I'll open here. So you can see here the image is the image is existing in the top right corner. Okay, I have not saved. Now I saved the changes here. Let me open again. We'll refresh. Okay. So now the image is repeating multiple times vertically as well as horizontally. Why it's happening? Because I told to cover the body with the background image, right? Let's see once again the code. I told here for the body tag background image must be piece.jpg. This is what I told. Now we know that when we specify the background image, it keep repeats by default the images horizontally and vertically so that it covers the entire element. So it, because the image size is small, so but still it's supposed to cover the entire body of the browser, right? The browser window it's supposed to cover, so it keeps repeating the images. In case if the image is sufficient to cover the entire body, it will not repeat. If it's the image size is very small, it's supposed to cover the entire element, it will keep repeated in horizontally and vertically. This is how it will happen. Okay, now I feel that image should not be repeated. Okay, so what I may do, I have the property called background repeat. So that I'm going to set here, background repeat. Let me select background repeat. The value I'm giving as no repeat. Okay, the value I'm giving no repeat. You can see here the value is I'm giving as no repeat. Okay, let's see how the background image is coming now. Yeah, you can make out here the background image is not repeated because I told that there is no repeat. Even you can strict with you want the image should be repeated only x direction, or the image should be repeated only in y direction. This is how also you can specify. Let's see how to do so. Okay, in place of no repeat, I'm going to give repeat hyphen x. Okay, so this will help you to repeat the image only in x direction. Let's see how it's repeating. Let me refresh this. So you can make out the image is repeating only in the x direction. In case if you give y, repeat y, if you give only in y direction, it's going to repeat it. Let's see here. Let me change this to y. Repeat y I gave. Let us see how it's executing. Yes, you can see here the image is repeated in only in y direction. Next we are going to see background position. I've given the value as right top. Actually what the background position is going to do, it specifies the initial position of the background image. We can set this property to either left top, center top, right top. So like this in different mean like or in the combination of top, bottom, right, left. In this way we can specify where the image should be fixed. Okay, now I specified here right top. Let's see how it's going to work. Yeah, here you can make out in the right top it's appearing. Since we have given repeat y, so it's appearing like that. In case if I give no repeat, if I give no repeat and then right top if I give, how it's appearing, let's see. I'll refresh. I have given no repeat, and the image name I have given in the background image, and the position I have given as a right top. Let's see here. Yeah, you can make out here. Now the picture image is appearing only in the right top of the browser. Okay, now we have another property called background attachment. Background attachment is nothing but it specifies whether a background image is fixed or scrolls when the user scrolls the rest of the page. It has got two values, either it may be scroll or fixed. If you specify fixed, as the user scroll the page, the background image is going to remain in the same place. If you specify scroll, as you scroll down the page, the image is going to scroll down. Let's see, let me add some more content and let me show you. Okay, now I have many paragraphs here. Let us execute and see. We have given background attachment as fixed. Okay, the image we have given and no repeat we said. Let us execute and see. Yeah, the image is fixed here. Since I told no repeat and I'm scrolling, the image remains same, right? The image is not scrolling. The image remains in the same position. So this is how the background attachment can be used. Okay, now we have the property called background. It sets all the background properties in one declaration. Till now we have seen a different declaration. For URL we have seen background image, and for repeat text we have seen background repeat, and then here background position we have seen, and then background attachment we have seen, right? So different properties we have seen, but now all these properties we are going to get it in a single statement. So that's how this page is going to work. Body, in the body I specified background property, the value must be URL, the image file name we have given, and then the repeat property we have told as repeat in the x direction, and then the position we have told as right top, and attachment we have told as fixed. Okay, let's see how this code is going to execute. Background.html, the file name, I'm going to open background.html. The same thing can be achieved even in a single statement, right? Background, image file name we told, repeat property, and then position property, and then we also told about attachment property. Thank you for watching.